Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine is your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 375 today. We're going to talk about securing our business's supply chain, and this is another episode in my cybersecurity and making yourself safe online section of my podcast, I guess. Your business's supply chain basically is third-party vendors and partners that you buy things from, that you take services from. It is the things that supply into your business and help you deliver your business to your customers, whatever that is. If you're a retailer, it will be the people that you buy product from. It will be the people that you are renting space from if you're renting space. It will be your hosting providers. It will be your domain name providers. It will be a whole heap of people's companies that you are dealing with in the process of doing your business. That's your supply chain. What is really important to understand with your supply chain is who is in that. And the first thing I'm going to recommend that you do is sit down and write out who it is you do business with, not just every day, but who it is you do business with in order to deliver your business. And you get yourself a list of those people. I'm sure you already have the list. It may not just be in one consolidated list that you can go through and go, yep, these are all the people. Once you've got all the companies, services, businesses, whatever it is, once you've got that list, you then need to go through and determine which of those companies are most important to your businesses and to your business, and which ones are the ones that you could probably do without if things were to go wrong. And I'm going to cover why this is an issue shortly. So when you are looking at that list of your vendors and your partners, understand that they can introduce vulnerabilities into your business. First of all, what happens if they go out of business? What does that mean? And that's a subject of a different series, and I will probably cover it, but understand what it means if they go out of business to your business. Then I want you to look at it in terms of cybersecurity and go through this in terms of cybersecurity. Look at their cybersecurity, their information technology, their information services, practices, and be sure that you understand what those practices are. If you are going to engage with a new vendor, make sure you understand those practices before you engage with them. Make sure you understand what your minimum requirements are for cybersecurity safety is, and that they meet them. If they don't meet them, you might need to find a new vendor, or you may need to put other things in place to protect more data or protect your data that you're going to share with them, because you will share data with your vendors. Once you've got everything in place, make sure you understand how to share data with these vendors. You need to have secure data exchange, and you need to understand the contractual agreements that you have in place with them. So for example, in my case, I have all of my subcontractors sign NDAs. If I use an agency, or if I'm using a larger company, I have to put in place an NDA with the company, and my NDA with the company actually says that your employees are also bound by this NDA, and I expect your practices, your contractual arrangements with your employees will have this provision as well. If they sign that contract, they're agreeing to the fact that their employees are bound by my NDA. Now, it gets a little tricky if things go wrong, but that's an example of the contractual arrangements you need to have in place. If you aren't sure what contractual arrangements you need to have in place, if you do need to reach out to someone to go through what you need to consider, the things that your business will need to make sure you are safe online and make sure you are protecting your clients online. When we're talking about data exchange, we're talking about first of all, usernames and passwords. Sometimes you've got to send back usernames and passwords with people so that they can get access to systems. I absolutely do not recommend that you share any of this information via email in the open, even if your email is sitting on one of those really nice shiny servers that say they encrypt everything. If someone gets access to your email account, they will have access, or to their email account, they will have access to those usernames and passwords. Even if the username and password, even if the password has changed, they can still get access to that account. What I do recommend if you are sharing usernames and passwords is you use a secure service. I use password managers where I can share passcards out. Those passcards are encrypted. To be able to get access to the passcard, the person who is receiving it needs to have an encryption key. So that gets sent in a different manner. So I'll send out the passcard or the link to the passcard via email, and I will send the encryption key out via personal messaging or via SMS or some other method that is completely divorced from them accessing their email to get access to that passcard. So that's one way of doing it, is using a password manager that has passcards you can share. I actually really like Zoho Vault for that. I also use RoboForm. RoboForm, if you're sharing a passcard, requires the person that receiving the passcard to create an account, which can get tricky. Zoho Vault will actually share the passcard one time. They'll only be able to access it one time. They can copy and paste it out into their own password manager. And again, I have policies around you will keep your usernames and passwords secure. So sharing data is important. So that's one way of doing it. The other one is services like One Time Secret. You go to One Time Secret, you put the information in, it creates a card. No, I'm going to use the term card. It creates a record. That record gets emailed off securely, or the link to that record gets emailed off securely to the recipient, and they can access that record one time. And after that, that record is burned. You cannot get access to it again. They don't store it on their server. It's just gone. So if they haven't got it, or if they get it and then they lose the information, they can't go back and say, well, what was that? Because they've already viewed it. You can't view it again. So onetimesecret.com is pretty cool too. There's a few others out there that do similar, but they're the main ways I recommend in sharing data with your vendors, your subcontractors, your team members. Make sure too, when you're doing that, excuse me, let me take a quick drink here. Make sure too, when you're doing that these are encrypted solutions, and that you have time limits on when the cards when the cards or the data will expire. So they can't have access to it indefinitely. If they don't get it within 24 hours, it's gone. They're going to have to ask you again to send it. So they've got to act on it pretty quickly. And the reason you do that is that it's not sitting there accessible publicly, I'm putting that in inverted commas, for a very long time. And finally, you need to monitor your supply chain security all the time. All the time. Conduct regular audits. Check what information you're sharing with your vendors. Check how they're receiving it. Check their policies as well, as to whether their policies have changed in how data is stored or moved or whatever it is. Make sure that your contracts in place with them still cover the business that you're doing with them today. And the reason I say that is it's really easy to start off with someone and say, these are the services you're providing, so this is what our contract covers. And then those services expand, but your contract hasn't changed. So sometimes, and I'm not saying it's always the case, but sometimes the provisions don't allow for the newer services that you've added in. So check your contracts with them regularly. Conduct regular audits and monitoring of your vendor compliance with your own safety requirements, your own security requirements. I would recommend that you do that at least once a year, maybe twice a year. I'm not sure you want to do it more often than that. I mean, if you could spend your entire life just monitoring your policies and procedures that you have in place and making sure that they're all working and not get any business done. So, there's a trade-off in all of this. But that's the importance of securing your business's supply chain. Make sure you know who your vendors and providers are. Make sure you understand which ones are important, the importance of each one to your business. Make sure you understand the agreements you have in place with them in terms of your IT security and how data is exchanged and how they store data and how they delete data and all of the things that go along with that. And then review those things on a regular basis. A regular basis might be every 12 months. It might be every twice a year. It might be every 18 months. It's entirely up to you, but make sure you are reviewing them and make sure you are updating your own processes, your own procedures, your own registers of risk based on those reviews. What do you guys think? Do you know the agreements that you have in place with your vendors at the moment, with your suppliers at the moment, with your subcontractors? Do you know what risk you are wearing as a result of having those contracts in place? Do you know what they are guaranteeing you they will do with the data that you are giving them? I would love to know what questions you have coming out of this. Leave comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. You can send me a DM on any of our social media channels. You can join my locals community and join the conversation there. askcharlyleetham.locals.com. I would love to see you there. Please, if you can, like this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. And I'll be back tomorrow and we're going to be talking about, again, more reviews. We're down to the reviewing part of the whole strategy of managing cybersecurity for your business. We'll talk about reviews tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.